Good day, panelists. We are from 4SMP2 and today we are going to discuss our developed system entitled RMM Apparel Operations Tracking and Monitoring System. Proponents for this system are Ms. Remilyn Abril, Mr. Jeremy Baldovino, Ms. Mutia de la Peña, and Ms. Lila Laguerta. Garment sewing industry serve an important role in people's daily lives. This industry plays so much part, especially on things we wear every day. Tracking production records through every system that makes up a business process allows a business to see exactly how the business performs and the way in which every customer experiences it. Monitoring is the process of continually collecting data points on each system. Project context or background of the study. Records management brings in the capability to adopt new technologies for records keeping, and by providing easy and better access to relevant records, it helps in better governance and corporate decision-making. The client for this developed system, the RMM Apparel Garments. RMM Apparel is one of many garments factory that produce undergarments clothing products from well-known brochure brands in the Philippines. Root cause analysis. The figures represent the root cause analysis using fishbone diagram. The diagram shows the analyzation of an existing issue or problem in the RMM Apparel company. In the diagram above, the head of the fish states the main problem the company facing through using the root cause analysis. We are able to locate the possible cause of the issue. 6 possible reasons were located for the undetected name of the worker who's responsible for the reject and damaged output. Locating the worker is needed for the repair of the said damaged product. Current process of RMM Apparel. This flowchart shows how the company performed their tasks inside their production. The process involved contains the receiving a bundle and printing of bundle ticket and manually storing the collected reports of the workers. Once a finished product receives a reject output, the secretary finds daily report of the workers one by one and look for the worker who did the bundle. Project objectives. The general objective of the project is to develop an operations tracking and monitoring system for RMM Apparel. Specifically, the developed project aims to design a system that will monitor the production of the company and track every operation. Develop a system with the following features, such as view workers' output made through monitoring, track bundles that will display all the operation it undergoes and generate and print report such as workers' output and breakdown of production. Test the functionality, compatibility, and usability through software usability measurement inventory of the project. Evaluate the project using ISO 25010. Document the project. Project purpose. The importance and purpose of the system is to easily help the company track the bundle and monitor the daily outputs and total breakdown of production. The first graph shows how the system can help the company monitor the total number of outputs per operation, while the other graph shows the breakdown of sizes and its total quantity.
For the beneficiaries of this project, this is beneficial to the following: to the RMM employer and employees, especially to those sewing operators, to the users of the system, which are the admin or the company owner and the office secretary, and for the future developers wherein this will serve as a reference for them to improve the status of the system. For the related literature of this project, RMM Apparel Garments. RMM Apparel Garment plays an important part in developing the project and on how the developers eagerly creates and plan the system that will contribute a lot in the process of the garments company. Manual tracking method. This method of inventory tracking is very useful for keeping track of all the inventory's details in real time. It collects data on all of the items and locations of the inventory as well as the movement of them. Tracking and monitoring system. The fundamental principle of a monitoring system is to allow users to capture data and disseminate information in a systematic way. This shows how a tracking and monitoring helps to make it easier to find the product and items. Information system. An information system is defined as a software that helps organize and analyze data. So the purpose of an information system is to turn raw data into useful information that can be used for decision making in an organization. Records management system. This helps in providing easy and better access to relevant records. Furthermore, record management brings in the capability to adopt new technologies for records keeping. Database management system. A database management system extracts information from the database in response to queries, and this helps the developers in creating the system that uses and connects database files and storage. For the development tools, Visual Studio. This tool is used to develop programs, web apps, web services, or web applications. The developers use the Visual Studio for the system codes and design. WAMP. This is a software that acts like a virtual server on your computer and allows you to test all WordPress features without any consequences since it's localized on your machine and is not connected to the web. Developing the project system needs the use of the WAMP server for the system to function its database. PHP and MySQL. PHP is a fast, feature-rich open-source scripting language used to develop web applications or internet or intranet applications, while MySQL made use to access database through manual coding.
Related studies. Sedonk is a business software solution for the fashion industry for users who are looking for an intuitive yet affordable tool. Sedonk streamlines the management of your order book, provides crucial information for planning quantities and spotting mistakes faster than spreadsheets. Axelar ERP system. Axelar is an apparel manufacturing technology solution. Its core process includes supply chain, merchandising, manufacturing, inventory, and cost accounting. Indigo 8 is a fashion software developed for fast-growing brands. It automates the daily operations of modern brands in a single solution for the management of product sales, inventory, manufacturing, websites, and retail stores. WFX PLM, it covers all bases from sourcing and product development to production and approval to ensure efficient management of apparel-related tasks. Apparel Magic is an inventory and apparel management software specifically built for this niche. It's an integrated solution that helps you manage style, sales, customer accounting, inventory, and purchases. Project Design. Flowchart of the developed system. This flowchart diagram shows how the system works and how the admin and the owner of the company performs more easier and convenient working processes. From starting the system, there is a need of logging in the username and password of the user. With that, owner may be able to access and enter the system inside the system or the function user can do, such as inputting data records of the workers, tracking bundles, search workers, output, and viewing the production details. Use case diagram. In the use case diagram represented in the presentation, it defines that only 2 people were assigned to perform the system. There are a total of 2 use cases that represents the specific functionality of the developed system. Each system users interact with a particular use case. Aside from it, the diagram shows what are the things that an admin can do that assistant admin cannot. In that case, users will see through this diagram and the limitations of what they can do to the system. There are 2 people involved in the process, the admin and the assistant admin. Project development, requirement gathering and analysis. In this stage, developers conducted an interview in RMM Apparel. The purpose of this was to find out what was being utilized in their existing process. System design. Designing is based on users and client roles. This stage is creating a design for the system. Implementation. In the development of the system, we made use of Microsoft Visual Basic Studio 2019 for encoding the source code of the system in order to be accurate and fast acquisition of data and information. Testing. After finishing the main parts of the transaction of the system, the proponents conducted a test sample to the client and it made them know the minor and major mistakes of the system and use it for better knowledge on how to develop it. Deployment. The final phase of the software development lifecycle or SDLC and puts the product into production. This signifies that the product is ready for all project and client to use. Maintenance. After the product is in full operation, software upgrades, repairs, and corrections for broken software are all possible with maintenance software. We have used this type of development model. Aside from the every phases was specific and direct to the point, a schedule can be set with the deadlines for each stage of development and a product can proceed through the development process phases one by one.
Project testing and evaluation. For testing and evaluation, we have used this testing procedure: functionality testing, compatibility testing, and SUMI or SUMI software usability measurement inventory. 30 questions were used and answered by 25 non-IT participants composed of employees working in the RMM apparel garments. One is company owner, one is office secretary, and 23 sewing operators. In evaluation, we have used ISO 25010 and was conducted to 25 non-IT respondents and 10 IT experts, classified as 2 web developer, 1 net developer, 1 project manager, 2 programming instructor, 1 senior software quality analyst, 1 IT library admin, 1 Android developer, and 1 system programmer. Functionality testing ensured if all the functions, features, and navigation of the system are all in good condition, function well. During testing, the developers tested and checked if all the buttons are properly working according to their function, as seen on the table showing the correction function of the button by displaying its designated page and path will be accessed as pass in the status column. The company RMM Apparel Garments office does have a desktop where we conducted the testing. Results show the developed system is compatible to the device used. This testing result also show that the system is compatible for device with high RAM or random access memory and will mostly work in device with Windows version 10 or 10 Pro. SUMI testing. In this SUMI testing procedure, we have conducted it through Google Form with 30 different questions. The respondents are composed of 25 non-IT respondents. From aspect of efficiency, effect, helpfulness, controls, and learnability, gathered results show the developed project respond accordingly to user input. Users can navigate the system with ease because with the design used are familiar, thus understanding the flow. The developed project is not problem. If users wanted to do something with the system, they will not be lost because all the design operations are common and understandable. Learning all the operation and controls are not difficult. And lastly, if shows the needed task to perform using the developed project is always completed without the supervision or assistance from the developers. ISO 25010 testing result for IT expert. In this testing result, it showed the 10 IT expert, the system also goes to have an excellent performance. The overall mean achieved for ISO 25010 result of IT expert is 4.28 and interpreted as very good. On the other hand, in this testing result, it showed that from the 25 non-IT respondents, the system goes to have an excellent performance. The overall mean achieved for non-IT ISO 25010 result is 4.67 and interpreted as excellent. As the developers conducted all the needed testing and evaluation procedure of the developed project system, the developers conclude that from the gathered result, the scope and all functionalities have met all the objectives of the project. Lastly, the developers documented the project.
In conclusion, the developed system entitled RMM Apparel Operations Tracking and Monitoring System has met the needs of the client. The group have already discussed the system to the company owner of the RMM Apparel and already signed the certificate of acceptance and completion, which states that the developers Abril, Baldovino, De La Peña, and La Huerta have already fully completed all the requirements work for the system mentioned earlier. For the recommendations, the development is beneficial to RMM Apparel Operations Tracking and Monitoring System evaluation as a whole. On the other hand, there are some recommended additional features and enhancements to make the system more effective. Make the system online. Workers should access the information regarding his or her finished outputs. With that, workers may notice and be aware of his or her productivity daily and weekly. Monitoring will be easy since they only need internet and mobile device. And next will be add another system page for workers' payroll since the system already contained with the information of them. This is also an advantage feature for workers whose salary are based on how many output he or she did or piece rate workers. Next part of this presentation is the RMM Apparel Operations Tracking and Monitoring System video simulation.
Welcome to the video simulation of the RMM Apparel Operations Tracking and Monitoring System. Before I continue, let me just give quick background to the client's company. RMM Apparel is one of many garments factory that produces undergarments clothing products for men, women, and kids from well-known brochure brands such as Avon, Natasha, Personal Collection, and etc. The goal of the system is to track sewing operations output and monitor the total breakdown of production of the company. The system has two users, the admin, which is the company owner, and the office secretary. To start with the system's video simulation, there will be a login form before accessing the system. Let's start with the admin. After logging in the admin's username and password, there will be a message box that will pop up stating the account confirmation. Entering wrong username and/or password will result to preventing the user to access the system. This will be the interface of the system's homepage. First, the admin must add first all the workers' name and information in the worker list section in the above left corner button of the system. Here includes the name, address, contact number, gender, and birthday of the worker. Only the workers added and listed here are the names that can be used in the records page and search workers output form. Now, let's move to the records button. This is where the admin and the office secretary will input the company's data needed in the system. All the text boxes here are needed to be filled out, such as the worker's name, his or her sewing operation or the sewing process or procedure, bundle number, style of the product, size, quantity, and date. Skipping an empty text box will result to showing a message box telling that you must complete all fields before adding. If in case the user needs to edit data that has been saved to the data grid view, user can filter and select the dataset that needed to be updated in the top search bar and by clicking the row in the data grid view in order to return the data from the text boxes and be able to edit and save again using the update button. Now, let's proceed to the search workers output button. In this form, the user may able to search the worker's output bundles he or she did on a specific date by searching the worker's name in the text box and picking date selection button. The displayed output can be printed by clicking the print button. Next system's main button is the track bundle button. In this feature, the system will display all the operations, where and when the bundle was created with the name of the worker by typing the bundle number in the track bundle number search bar. The displayed output can also be printed by clicking the print button. Next is the production button. This section shows the graph and table for monitoring. The graph seen above shows the monitoring of quantity per operations, while the table on the right side shows the breakdown of sizes and its total quantity as filtered by the date and style in the top text boxes of the page. Clicking filter button will display all the data from the selected date and style. Export button exports the result of data in Microsoft Excel sheet. The three yellow buttons at the top left section of the system, including the workers list, are the exclusive scope of the admin. This can only be seen and accessed in the admin's interface of the system when he or she logins. Activity log button shows all the activities performed by both the admin and office secretary inside the system from the time they logged in and the time they logged out the system. In the account setting, admin can update or edit user's password and username. While in Backup Database button, this enables the admin to copy the data files stored in the database of the system. For the interface and scope of the Office Secretary, the Office Secretary's scope and task is mainly to add the worker's dataset of reports in the records page. Office Secretary can also perform the other functions of the system except with the exclusive buttons mentioned in the admin scope and interface earlier, such as the adding of worker into the workers list, backup database, activity log, and account setting. Lastly, log out button log out the system.